What's up, you guys? Mitch Gorley, career firefighter and owner and coach at Everyday Heroes. Today we're going to be showing you the 6 movement patterns that all firefighters need to master and why your training should reflect the demands of their job. So movement number 1 is the squats. We're going to grab a second kettlebell here because we're going to do a little double front rack orientation. So basically when I'm thinking of a workout, and I get lots of questions of people asking like, how do I structure a workout? And basically, if you just pick one movement from each movement pattern, you're gonna hit a full body workout that is gonna set you up for success. So the movement patterns are squat, lunge, hinge, push, pull, carry, and we're gonna add a 7th for today, which is rotation, because anti-rotation and stability is super important in firefighting, but rotational strength, whether that's forcing a door, advancing a hose line, is really important as well. So that's a little bonus at the end. Like I said, movement numero uno is gonna be the squat. So we're gonna go ahead and set up feet shoulder width apart. Our legs are our biggest muscles, so let's make sure we strengthen and utilize them. We're gonna go ahead and hike into that front rack orientation, sink down nice and deep, and then power up. Keeping our core braced through the entire range of motion. And as you can imagine, having that kettlebell in that front rack orientation, gravity is pulling us forward, so we're having to use the musculature of that upper back to keep that chest nice and proud and bang out these reps. I get a lot of questions around sets and reps, and depending on your movement, depending on the end goal, this is gonna change, but a very good starting point, 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps is gonna be an awesome place to start. Number 2 is gonna be the lunge. So that can be both forward or reverse. Today we're gonna do a reverse suitcase lunge. I'm gonna use the dumbbell for this set. I'm a big fan of kettlebells, but I know a lot of people don't have access to a kettlebell. Most people will have access to a dumbbell, so we're gonna show you how that looks. Whether it's stepping up into the truck, climbing stairs with your high-rise pack on, single leg strength is super, super important. And most of the time when we carry tools, whether that's our defib, ladder, saw, cam, it's on one side. So I love this suitcase orientation because it's really gonna challenge our core through unilateral loading. And it's also gonna force us to develop some strength and stability in that leg as you bang out these reps. Again, same premise applies. If we go ahead and shoot for 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 reps per side, that's gonna be an awesome starting point. Number 3 is the hinge. So we worked squat pattern, lunge pattern, and now to make sure that we're hitting the back of the leg and the glutes, we're gonna do a hinge movement. One thing we need to understand, forward flexion is inevitable in our line of work. So in order to make sure that we're ready and have the capacity for the demands of the job, we need to go ahead and train that to build resilience and explosive power. So we're gonna do a little swing here. I'm gonna show you the kettlebell, which would be option number 1, but you can also do a swing with a dumbbell. So we're gonna start with the kettlebell. We're gonna go feet shoulder width apart, hinge at the hips. So again, kettlebell swing, it's not a squat. We're not going up and down like this. We're hinging back and forth. So we really wanna focus on driving those hips or sending those hips back and then driving through the legs. Our arms are simply acting as a pendulum. All the force production is coming from the glutes and hamstring. So feet shoulder apart, hinging forward. We're gonna hike that up, stand up nice and tall, and drive through the hips. Again, 3 to 4 sets, 8 to 12 reps, or 15 to 20 reps if you really wanna jack up that heart rate. Cast out, capture, through the hips. I think one thing that all first responders must be is adaptable, and we're gonna show you just that, being able to use a dumbbell to accomplish the same thing. So opposed to the kettlebell, having that nice horn to hold onto, we can basically just grip the dumbbell on either side and everything, all the mechanics are gonna be the exact same. Feet shoulder apart, grab that dumbbell. One thing I don't think I would recommend to anyone is doing a max effort 10K and then doing a bunch of lower body movements, but it's for you guys, so we're making it happen. Oh. Next up, now that we've tackled the lower body, we're gonna go into push. So that's any sort of pressing movement, whether that be overhead or in front of you. It's really gonna work to develop the chest, shoulders, and triceps. So for this movement, we're gonna do a little kettlebell push press. The reason I like that is because in the real world on the fire ground, if we have our legs to utilize to make the job easier, let's go ahead and use them. So if we're working overhead, we're not gonna keep our legs fixed and just use our shoulders. Let's go ahead and use a lot of that power from the lower body to help us out. So think overhaul, putting something into a high cabinet, assisting a firefighter in a man down or a firefighter down situation, firefighter survival situation. This is gonna help mimic that. So similar to that front rack squat, hike the kettlebell up, but then we're gonna power from the legs, absorb. Push up. We can go ahead and take a moment at the bottom, or we can make it more dynamic and explosive and basically capture that load and go right back up. So again, using a bit of pop from those legs, using that momentum and driving up to go up overhead. And the one thing that I always preach is when we work fast, as you can hear, breathing is becoming a little bit more labored. We're working both cardiovascular capacity as well as full body strength. And you compare that to something like a seated military press. Let's pretend there's a bench underneath me. We still are doing a pushing movement, but we're really isolating that muscle in a manner that's not really applicable to our job. Where when we stand up here and go ahead and do that push press, now we're using our whole body, everything from our ankles, knees, quads, hips, core, and shoulders. All working in unison as nature intended. 1, 2, 3, 4, on to number 5, which is going to be pull. So now that we've addressed the shoulders, chest, and triceps, let's go ahead, back, traps, rhomboids, rear delts, biceps with some pushing movements. So for this one, we're gonna choose a locomotive row. Why it's called locomotive row? I guess it's because you kind of look like a train going down the tracks. Not only is this great for developing the back, but as you can imagine, as we rep back and forth in this unsupported position, there's a huge demand being placed on my spine. And then there's also a ton of torsion going for my upper body. So this is just gonna make you an absolute powerhouse and build a ton of resilience in that low back. So for this, feet shoulder apart, hinging in the back, kettlebells are gonna come up. Similar requirements applies, but this time we're gonna go per side. So if you shoot for 8 to 12 reps per side, 16 to 24 reps total. Great starting position. And again, because of the explosive, dynamic nature of that work, you can hear the heart rate and you can hear the breathiness in my voice. So next is carry, number 6. So whether it's carrying patients or carrying tools, this is something that we are required to do. We need to be able to create stability as we move to ensure that we avoid injury. So I love this banded suitcase march. So again, this suitcase orientation, loading one side unilaterally is really gonna force all the musculature on this side to work. And I love adding the band because it's gonna add an unstable movement to the weight. So this is gonna work on something called proprioception, which basically refers to our body and our nervous system's ability to adapt to movements and ensure that we accommodate for those changes. So the more effective we are to adapt to certain movements, the less the likelihood of us losing position and getting injured because those movements are. So we're gonna go ahead and hold the weight on this side, and we're gonna go ahead and march on the spot. If you have the space to do so, you can also go ahead and walk with this weight to accomplish something similar in a little bit of a different way. So core stays braced. We can sit here and do this all day long, but the slower we go, the better. This is not only gonna challenge the core, but also the stability in the foot, ankle, and lower leg. Last thing is rotation, and although I don't think this is necessarily considered one of the 6 foundational movement patterns, I think it is absolutely necessary for the reasons I stated before. Forcing a door, swinging tools, advancing a hose line. Although as firefighters, we need to be able to create stability in the body, we also need to be able to create rotation. Because if we move around the world being super stiff, anytime we have to twist and turn, which is inevitable, that kind of opens the door for injury. So one of my favorite movements for this, and one of the things that I actually utilize this cable machine most for, is rotational movements. So we're gonna go ahead, feet shoulder apart, and we're gonna just do a little standing chop, kind of pivoting on the ball of our back foot, driving with our core. Go ahead and complete the exact same thing on the other side again. 3 to 4 sets, 8 to 12 reps per side is a great starting point. If you're not lucky, like me, and have the cable machine, you can go ahead and do the exact same thing with some bands, which are nice and cheap. So, and feet shoulder apart. If you want to add more or less resistance, you can simply step in, or you can go ahead and step out. So if you're ever wondering what to do next time you're in the gym, if you just pick one movement or one variation from each one of those patterns, you're gonna basically have a comprehensive full body workout. And that's the approach that I have with myself and with a lot of the clients that I work with when we're trying to target full body. So if you're looking for more information on firefighter and first responder fitness, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you're looking to apply some of these principles for yourself, I'll have some free resources down there as well. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Stay safe and take care.